Judges chapter 16. Judges chapter 16, verses 6, 7, and 8. So Delilah said to Samson, "Tell me the secret of your great strength and how you can be tied up and subdued." Samson answered her, "If anyone ties me with 7 fresh bowstrings that have not been dried, I'll become as weak as any other man." Would you look at your neighbor, tell him, "I'm not like everybody else." Then the ruler of the Philistines brought her 7 fresh bowstrings that had not been dried, and she tied him with them. You may be seated. I want to preach for a little while this morning using as a subject, I'm in a bind. I'm in a bind. Look at the person beside you, tell them you need to hear this word. I'm in a bind. Ladies and gentlemen, dendrology is the terminology used for the study of trees. In Japanese culture, they have a quirky practice called pygmy trees. Pygmy trees whereby are oak trees that at their infant stages, they take a wire and a coil and begin to wind it around the very base and the roots of the tree in order to stifle its growth. It's worthy of mentioning that they only do this process with oak trees. Oak trees that usually take 75 years to come to their full maturation. And when they come to the point of their full maturation, the average oak tree can grow from 80 to 100 feet. But because of this practice in Japanese culture where they wind it and bind it up with metal coils, it only grows from 16 to 18 inches. Ladies and gentlemen, in Japanese culture, they have a problem with the trees growing so tall because they are not. And they have an issue with things in nature being bigger than them. And if it is bigger than them, they feel like they're out of control. It never reaches its goal. And amazingly, you ought to know that the same work it takes to grow an oak tree to full development is the same work that is necessary to keep it stifled. I'm here, ladies and gentlemen, because a lot of you don't even understand that you have been bound by insecure people who are fearful you're going to get bigger than them. And because they can see what your potential is, they have a sense of your capacity, your depth, and what it is that you can become. They are doing everything they can to keep you tied up. Because at the end of the day, they don't want you to go any bit past where they are. And what is amazing is that they don't even realize that the same amount of work that they are using to hold you back is the same work they should be using to push themselves forward. If they would not expend so much energy trying to keep you in a bind and trying to further their own life, their own career, and their own dreams, they'd be a whole lot happier than being disgusted by what it is that God has done in you. Willie Lynch, in his letter entitled How to Keep a Black Man Down, said, I use fear, distrust, and envy to control them. Because if I break their spirit, there will always be slaves in their mind. Ladies and gentlemen, many of you don't even realize how bound we are from the fear and distrust and envy from people who look like us. Dr. Jeremiah Wright said, everybody who's your color is not your kind. Please don't assume everybody wants to see you go far. I'm amazed, if not shocked, at the likes of Cornel West and Eddie Glaude, who have taken issue with our president, but were woefully silent during the Bush administration. Something is wrong that Bob Johnson would call for President Obama to have one term, but he doesn't know we had the same sentiment while he was in fact poisoning the minds of millions of young children so that they would just become booty shakers and pimps and players and embrace the notion that they were just hoes. Nobody put him out of business. I feel sorry, ladies and gentlemen, this morning for President Barack Obama. My heart goes out to him because he is the most gifted president we have ever had. It has got to be frustrating when he's got ideas, when he's got a plan but can't get any support. That the Republican Party will keep millions out of work just to get one man out of a job. That they really don't care if they tank the entire economy, because please be clear, it is all a diabolical plot and plan just to get the president out of the office. So now they've got a group of bumbling idiots called candidates who can't even conjugate a plan or a course of action. So the best thing they can do is get an overweight governor from New Jersey who can't even get in the ring to try to maintain the standard that our president has set. But just like President Obama, a lot of you are in the exact same place because you have gifting, you have ideas, you have concepts, but because people don't like you, they'll try to kill your idea. Because people don't like what you represent, and because they didn't come up with it first, then they try to find a reason not to like you. And if they can't find a reason, they'll make something up. Y'all ain't talking back to me. It's a critical thing when it is that you're gifted but can't get any support. When you have ideas but you can't get a push. When it is you got a plan but you can't find anybody to follow it. And I'm talking